Hello, and today we will be doing a Block Wars Origins 24 teams review. The Block Wars break, as you probably know, is over, which means the return of not just the regular event, but Origins as well. So if you like the video, make sure to like and maybe even subscribe, and let's get into it. First up, we have Team Cats with Toph, Chaos, Tay, and newcomers Ubby and Malcat. Now, I think this team is crazy because Ubby is just cracked out of his mind. And I don't know. Obviously, he used to be in testing along with like Toph and Chaos and Sparky and all those people. So it's crazy that he's being allowed in Origins. And there is also another very crazy player that we will see later on in this video. But yeah, the trio of Toph, Chaos, and Avi could be very dangerous and especially scary in PvP like battle. Although Toph does not have the best record when it comes to Sky Zone, but otherwise they are like extremely strong in PvP. Tay does not have a lot of performance performances under their belt, and they only had one team, so they aren't the greatest. And I don't know too much about Malcat, but assuming that Outv is allowed to team with Toph and Chaos, I feel like they're at least okay. Like, this is just a crazy team to start off with, and definitely interesting to see how they'll perform. Next up, we have Team Goopy with Cloud, Rice Krispies, Gummy Roms, Emerald, and Vig. Now, Emmy is coming off of a very strong performance being Team X-Ray, so I'm very curious to see if he can like somewhat replicate that performance. We also see the return of a duo of Cloud and Keegan, which was last seen in Mayhem. I don't remember which one because they had like so many events around that time that were like non-canon, but I believe it was like 22. But anyways, Keegan and Cloud is a very interesting duo. They are both like very strong players. Keegan did recently throw one PB, but we'll see if that's different for this event. Hopefully, it's not the same. And then obviously, Cloud is a very strong player, just like all rounded, except like more stronger in like PvP, but movement isn't bad as well. And then we have Christy and Vig has only had one event under his belt, but even so, I think he'll still do like decent. And then we also have Christy, who doesn't do like too well, but I definitely think she can do like someone decent. And I definitely think this team could be scary in Extraction. But yeah. Next up, we have Team Hex with Airborne, Dovey, Marcus, Ant, Frost, and Carter. Now we see the return of Ant in Origins, and last time he did very well. And if you want like a similar comparison, he also does very well in PV. So I think Ant is like still a very strong player. Potentially top 3. I don't know about like guaranteed top 3, but he's very strong. And I definitely think Ant can get top 10 this event. And he is teamed up with Carter, who has been doing really well recently. Like, Carter has been popping off. And then we have Marcus, who had a very unfortunate last event. So, hopefully, Marcus does not have any issues because I definitely think Marcus can get like top 10 on like the right team, as he's definitely very capable. And then we have Dobie, who is obviously like pretty like decent. We also have Air. The Air only has like one event under their belt, which isn't like the best, but I still think this team can do rather decent, especially if Marcus doesn't have any problems. This team can do very well. I can see potentially like Marcus and Carter all in like top 10. Like I can definitely see it happening because this is a very like decent team. And Dovey and Air aren't the like best. I can still see them like doing way better than usual in this event. So yeah. Next up we have Team Curse with Maskey, Sarah, Kel Awesome, Mystic Sins, and Lantastic. Now this is the first time we're seeing Land in an actual event because he was in game night. However, that is not the same as actual Origins. So I'm interested in seeing how well he play in the actual event. I think he'll do decent. And then we see the return of the trio of Maskey, Sarah, and Kel. Now Kel has had uh, two unfortunate events, or his last two events were very unfortunate with his team getting third. So let's hope he doesn't get third this time. Obviously, individually, he always does well. It's kind of awesome, but teams, he always seems to miss the margin. And then we have Massey, who's actually like pretty decent. Their performances have been like middle of the road, but I definitely can see them like popping off and like getting like top 15. And then we have Sarah, who hasn't done the best, but she can definitely like be sneaky in some games. And then we have Mystic, who's coming off of a team from Bridges in their first event. So let's see if this team can replicate the magic. As far as games they can do good in, feel like this is like just an all-rounded team in general. So I don't think they have two strong games, but not any two weak games. So this is definitely like an all-rounded team, and yeah. Next up, we have Team Gwen with Dynamite Donut, MC Morgan Plays, Crudders, It's Eagles Piggles, and John from Down Pub, who's actually just Desert Lad, but I digress. Now, this is a full lads team, as we can see. This also marks the return of Donut, who usually doesn't get to play because he usually makes the maps, but he's in this event. Will he get first in race? Who knows? Anyway, this team is like has a very like good comms. I feel. I think this team will do like very well. Although Piggles has not played Block Wars as much, I still think he's like pretty decent. And then we have Morgan, who can definitely like do well. Like sometimes he doesn't have like the best of teams, but I definitely this is a team that he'll do way better on. And then we have Donut, who also always does decent. And they definitely have like a trio that can get like top 10 as well. And then we also have Crudders, and Crudders isn't actually that bad. Crudders is like a very good like supporting player. And then we have Desert Lad, whose last team was very interesting, being Team Crime. So I'm curious to see how well he'll play and like a little bit more of a more competitive team. But yeah. Next up, we have Team WSMG or Shadow Wizard Money Gang with Mysticat, Ameston, Narwhal, No Name, and Wolfie. Now, I definitely think this will be a very funny team. And they're also not that bad. No Name currently has a record for only getting last, but can that be broken? Definitely. I definitely think No Name can definitely get not last. And if No Name does get not last this event, that would be pretty cool. And then we have Wolfie, Misty, and Ameston, a trio which was last saw on Team Yoshi. So this team is like very similar. However, I do think they have improved since that time. Obviously, Ameston was not the most skilled back then, but he is way better now. And I definitely think he'll do way better. And then we have Wolfie, who has always been like a very good player in my opinion, like always like top 15. And then Misty, they're also like pretty good. Maybe not as well in Origins, but they're definitely still like a good player. And then we have Narwhal, who's like Goofy Goober with their performances, but they're definitely like decent. I definitely see this team being strong in movement and maybe even like spleef. Like move, I think this team will do very well. Same with race, but who knows? But I definitely think this team can do very well and might shock a few people. But yeah. Next up, we have Team Scooby with Anna Blue Skies, Ende, I Love Nons, Cyberchamp, and Captain Flamey. Now, this team obviously doesn't look the strongest on paper, and I don't know how likely they are to make it into Bridges, but they'll certainly be having a goofy time during this event. Obviously, Cyber has not done the best, obviously, but I definitely think he's had his pop off moments, and that will definitely like help this team placement wise. And then we have Anna, who I believe her last event was Team Skies, and she did pretty good in that event. So I definitely think there's a possibility of her doing well. And then we have Ende, who obviously has not played in a while, but that is due to other factors, not just not being put in the roster. And then we have Flores. Flores is obviously just very cracked. Like Flores is so good, especially in movement games. And PvP, he's at either. So this team, obviously, not the strongest on paper. We also have Flamey with very little performances under their belt, so that might hurt this team. But I definitely think this will be at least a fun team to watch. And last but not least, Team Haunt with Celestial Rain, Zeruo, Master Garf, Space Brownies, and Kaylin. Yep, we see Kaylin finally in Origins after being in testing for like who knows how long. And obviously, Kaylin is very cracked, as we've seen in like many other events. Kaylin is very good, just like in every game, other than racing games, which Kel just overtakes him. Will that happen in this race? We'll see. But yeah, he's just very cracked. And then we have Space, who subbed in for both the main roster and Origins in the same like week, or not same week, but same 2 weeks, and their team made bridges in both. So all I'm saying is Space is a little OP. And then we have Garth, whose last event was pretty decent, and I definitely think he is a top 15 player for sure, and a very like good mixed player. And then we have Zoo, who is pretty decent in my opinion, and Dakota, who while she hasn't like done the best, I definitely think she can still like break like top 30. Like yeah, as far as games this team will do well in, I feel like maybe move. I haven't said construction a lot because construction is construction, but I definitely think they can do well in this game. And it really depends on how well Kalen can lead this team, because as his first time playing in an actual event and not like a test. But yeah. And that is it for this Block Wars Origins 24 team review. I hope you enjoyed. As far as the next event video I'll do, I have zero idea. But there's MCC party, but I don't feel like doing that. So if teams do come out for WMCT this month, it most likely will be that. But otherwise, I have no idea. But anyway, bye bye.